this. Now the velocity mode, we'll check out where the spin is located. It's right here, very close to Highway 24, just southwest of Miltonvale is where it looks to be from this version of the radar. I'm going to tilt over here to the left a little bit and see if I can get a different radar perspective on this. Here, I think we switched over now. That's the Topeka radars that we're seeing here, seeing a rotation just west of Miltonvale. And we get to this spot, now it switches over to the Hastings radar, so still seeing that same spot. Okay, so Miltonvale, take cover right now if you're in Miltonvale. It's a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning, so it's not spotter confirmed at this point. But either way, if you're in Miltonvale, you want to take cover. Lowest level of your home. Put as many walls as possible between you and the storm, and get away from windows. So if you don't have a basement, if you have a basement, go to the basement. If you don't have a basement, first floor is the best you can do. Just get away from the windows. Get to the center part of the house if you can. Most of the time, the interior bathrooms and closets are the most effective. The smaller area is more sturdy. So if the house is damaged around you, many times that central bathroom or central closet tend to hold up much better. We don't want to be near an exterior wall, any wall that touches the outside or any windows. You want to stay away from those windows as well. So from the Weather Service, they say it's capable of producing a tornado near Miltonvale, moving east at 35 miles per hour, and a hail up to 2 inches in diameter is also a possibility with this. You probably also noticed we had a severe storm warning just added onto this area of purple that goes across Washington, Clay, and Dickinson counties. This area is now under a severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued as well. Hey, Doug, I don't know if the live caption is going. Are you able to verify if they've got that for me, please? What's that? Thank you, Bridge. Okay, thank you. All right, so severe storm warning issued just now for Cloud, Clay, Dickinson, Ottawa, Republic, and Washington until 2:15. 70-mile-per-hour winds, hail to 2 inches diameter. That's this whole warning. So you won't see hail that big the whole route, but the possibility of hail that big exists within the storm. So something else I'm noticing about this is that the rotation on this is going to rapidly outrun the tornado watch, or tornado warning that we're already in. So right here, if we're going 35 miles per hour, and the storm is now getting really southeast of Miltonvale, we don't have a tornado warning yet that's been extended over into Dickinson County at this point. So out ahead of this, or Clay County, we don't have a tornado warning out ahead of this yet. So we're moving 35 miles per hour from really just a couple of miles away from the county line. This warning goes for 20 more minutes. There's no way that this rotation will still be in Cloud and Ottawa County in 20 minutes. So this tornado warning is not going to last a full 20 minutes. It could still be doing damage right now. There could be a tornado on the ground right now. But there's not going to be, this tornado warning will not exist at 1:30. It's got about 5 or 10 more minutes before it'll have to be canceled because it's going to move out of that area. But still, Oak Hill, Clay Center, these areas should be taking cover, should be ready to take cover right now, especially the Oak Hill area, really just south of Clay Center, would be areas of concern here. All right, back to the velocity mode. We'll see the spin on this. There's your spin coming toward Miltonvale, now diving down toward the Oak Hill area. And again, we just saw them issue the severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this. And it's not a low-end warning. This is a warning with the mention of hail up to 2 inches diameter. And they've had 2 inch diameter possibility of hail and also 70-mile-per-hour winds with this. So as this makes its way into Clay County, we're likely to at least see winds of 70 miles per hour as a hazard here. The northern part of the storm in southern Washington County is in this, and then all the way to I-70 has the mention of 70-mile-per-hour winds and hail up to 2 inches in diameter. Let's see what the hail core is. We had a report a few minutes ago that the hail was quarter size in Glasgow from a train storm spotter. I also saw it to Highway 24 and 81 where they intersect just south of Concordia. I saw a lot of cars were hiding under the overpass there, which is not the safe idea. You don't want to do that. It won't protect you from a tornado. It'll keep you from getting hail damage, but don't try that trick for tornadoes. That's extremely dangerous. So here on the hail zone, it's showing that the hail still this purple to this lighter purple color. So we're talking close to 2 inches diameter is a possibility with this. And the hail product does lag back a little bit. It lags about 5 minutes behind because it's taking several radars into account just tell you how big the hail is. So the hail core is more like right here, either south of or right over Miltonvale. But the rotation itself is out farther ahead of that, getting closer to Oak Hill at this point. All right. They're continuing the tornado warning for Cloud, Ottawa, 1:11 p.m., capable of producing tornado 1 mile southeast of Miltonvale, moving east at 35 is the latest on this thing. All right, so there it is. 1 mile southeast of Miltonvale, maybe even more than that at this point. So as they issue some of these statements, you know, the 1 minute it takes for them to write the thing and send it out, sometimes that 1 minute can make a difference as to where it's located after a couple of moments here. All right, there's your rotation. In the next few minutes here, it's going to move out of Cloud and Ottawa counties, and then we'll have to see if we get a tornado warning issued for Clay County. So Clay County, heads up, you don't have a tornado warning right now. For the next 5 minutes, you might. Now, the National Weather Service put out a severe thunderstorm warning ahead of all this. They're confident you'll see severe weather in these areas out ahead of the tornado warning. But they very well may also issue the tornado warning over into Clay County, depending on what they think about this storm in the next few moments here. It's moving 35 miles per hour, and it's very close to getting across the county line there. So they will not continue this very long after it goes across this county line from being in really northeast Ottawa County at this point to moving to the Oak Hill area. Let's check the mileage on this, how far we'd be. There we go, distance. So if we have a tornado, it's right in here. And we're looking at this being 2 miles from the county line or 4 miles away from Oak Hill. And again, it's moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. So right now, Oak Hill in Clay County is not in a tornado warning. But I will tell you, Oak Hill, you should go ahead and be ready to take cover if you're not already doing it. It's awfully close to you. As a matter of fact, if you're in Oak Hill, I would take shelter right now. You're not officially in tornado warning yet. But let's go ahead and lean forward on this. If you're in Oak Hill, forgive me later if it doesn't come your way. Either way, around Oak Hill, you're going to see dangerous winds of 70 miles per hour close to it, and the hail could be up to 2 inches diameter. So it'll be a scary storm either way in Oak Hill. Oak Hill, you're not in the tornado warning yet. I'm asking you, please take cover right now, just because the storm is this nasty and because I know the Weather Service is considering whether or not to put a tornado warning on top of you right now, and you're not going to have 30 minutes of lead time. In Oak Hill, you're going to have 2 minutes of lead time on this if, in fact, they issue this warning. But the decision as to whether or not, what's that? Bridge? Okay. Sometimes the people talking to my ear from the other side of the cameras, if you talk to me, make sure you holler at me. This thing's not particularly loud. So Oak Hill, if you're in this area, I would take shelter now anyway. You're going to see large hail, probably bigger than golf balls, which is going to be a scary storm at the minimum. But it could also have a tornado. That's a possibility on this. Go back to velocity mode here on this and see how the spin looks. It still has it's not the most impressive hook, but it's definitely a hook there out on the front side of this. Let's go back to the now mode here. So there you go. You got these strong winds edging into the Oak Hill area at this time. See how strong it says they are. What do we got? All right, 60, 70 miles per hour. So the Weather Service is saying about 70 is possible with these. So just west of Oak Hill, across southeast Cloud County, and the northeast part of Ottawa County, we have 70, maybe 75 mile per hour winds that are in this. All right, again, this is a tornado warning that includes Cloud and Ottawa counties. So if you're in Concordia, for example, if you had your NOAA weather radio screeching just a moment ago, or any apps, if you had a tornado warning come out in Concordia that says tornado warning, it's not for Concordia. It's down here in the southeast part of Cloud County, moving away from Concordia at this time. For folks that would be a little farther to the south and west, maybe Minneapolis, if you had your weather radio screeching, you're not in the tornado warning, but a lot of those apps and the weather radios go off for the whole county, not just the area in the tornado warning. So this is a small area that's in the tornado warning itself. It's just a small part of Cloud County, a small part of Ottawa County. And when the Weather Service draws these on, you can kind of get an idea of what their thinking is. They said 35 miles per hour, taking this out to 130, but notice the rotation is just about to get out of Cloud and Ottawa counties already. It's almost into Clay County at this point. So this warning probably won't make it all the way to 130. And since we are getting across the county line there into Ottawa County, they may have storm spotters that are telling them they haven't seen this thing touch down, but it's still dangerous with the strong straight line winds at best case. So again, I'd mentioned if you're around the If you're around the Oak Hill area, I would encourage you to take cover, take shelter right now, lowest level of your house, get away from the windows, put as many walls as possible between you and the storm, just like this was a tornado warning for the Oak Hill area, because the possibility is there they could issue, and if they put out a tornado warning for Clay County, it's going to be because of this problem right here. So around Oak Hill, you're not in the tornado warning just yet. You could be in the next few moments, but you are in the severe thunderstorm warning with hail that's up to 2 inches in diameter. And they haven't put an update on this for the next last 5 minutes. But again, 2-inch diameter hail, it's bigger than a golf ball. Once you have the hail that big, if it's also got the 75-mile-per-hour winds, you'll have the hail sometimes coming in at an angle that's low enough that it can hit the windows. You can have window damage from this. If you're close to windows, it could break a window out. You could have that blasting in towards you with the strong winds as well. So 2-inch diameter hail certainly can break windows, especially when it comes with these strong straight-line winds as well. So there's the radar again showing the strongest winds now starting to cut into the western part of Clay County. Zoom out on this again. So your rotation was this stuff that's going toward the Oak Hill, Longford area. The area that's in the tornado warning now in the southeast part of Cloud County and northeast Ottawa County looks to me like it's now behind the actual tornado warning. So we'll see in the next few moments here if they actually drop the tornado warning early. If they do, it does not mean that the threat from the severe storm is gone. It just means it wouldn't be something they're looking at as likely as producing a tornado at that point. But the possibility of producing large hail certainly still exists, as well as damaging straight-line winds. So there's the hail zone parameter here on this. And looking at this dark area of purple, this is actually going to be about 5 miles southeast of what it's showing here on this map. But the town of Oak Hill in southwest Clay County, that's hail. It's at least size of golf balls, or maybe even a bit larger, that's moving into Oak Hill in the next few minutes here, maybe 5 minutes. So around Oak Hill, you have winds that are close to 70 miles per hour, almost surely right now. And within the next couple of moments here, you're going to have big hail as well. See if we have any pictures coming in on WIBW.com of this stuff yet. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, so again, tornado warning goes until 1:30 for southeast Cloud and northeast Ottawa counties. I am almost certain here they're going to discontinue that warning in a moment for those counties, but I'm not sure if they're going to push the warning over into Clay County before they do it. I'm sure they're thinking about what to do with it, if they're going to drop it or actually extend it over there. So, all right, zooming back out on this, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place now, almost to Highway 36. Not quite the town of Washington, but this line of storms from southeast Concordia to almost Salina that's diving southeast. This is going to have a long area of very strong winds. You're most likely going to have a big area of wind damage here. And the severe thunderstorm warning does mention 70-mile-per-hour winds and hail up to 2 inches diameter, which is bigger than a golf ball. It's officially called hen egg size hail. But if you've been in the grocery store, I mean, you've probably seen egg size can be a lot of different sizes. So what does hen egg size mean? You know, sometimes it's hard to say exactly what it means. All right, so a report from Concordia. We had a wind gust to 66 knots. That's just about 70 miles per hour. Just a few minutes ago, it looks like here. I'll check out the spotter reports on this.
And Jeremy, as you're getting that, I'm just looking at the live chat that's going on the WIBW Facebook, and we're getting a lot of questions about the rest of Northeast Kansas. This line is coming through pretty much the entire viewing area. We have that severe thunderstorm watch going until 6 o'clock this evening. It'll probably be getting close to Manhattan here, probably about 3, 4 o'clock, and then closer to 5 o'clock, maybe 6 by Topeka. But we're definitely keeping an eye on this line as it continues to push through the area for pretty much everyone getting at least storms. Now, whether or not they're severe or not, or how bad that will be, pretty much everyone's going to be getting rain at some point in time between now and sunset, so be ready.
Thank you, Doug. All right, so the tornado warning hasn't been canceled quite yet. If you see it canceled before I do, let me know, please.
Okay.
All right. Seeing if I have a view of this thing as it's getting into, that Cameron Clay Center is not updating anymore. All right. We'll see if I had a a peek at it there, but I don't. All right, so as Doug was mentioning, we'll be watching downstream here shortly.
Let's see, looks like they're gonna cancel the tornado warning.
Okay, they're canceling it early. That's what we expected here. Again, it's moved into Clay County, but not just that. The Weather Service mentioned in the update that the rotation has dissipated. So it no longer has enough rotation with it to have a tornado warning, and it's also moved out of the area. So the rotation was coming out of Cloud County, but they also mentioned that not only is it out of the warned area, but that the rotation's not as pronounced as it was. However, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place for winds up to 70 miles per hour. This extends from near Washington all the way to Abilene, and we just had the report a few moments ago of winds to about 70 miles per hour in Concordia. So this has winds to 70, even not just in this area that has the rotation, the head rotation, but it's also up here in Concordia. Now, what you'll notice here, this area is kind of bursting out ahead of the storm. That can tend to have especially strong winds. So this area around Oak Hill, I'm still concerned about you guys for extremely strong winds that are at least going to be in that 65 to 70 mile per hour range. But down the line here, I'd say if you're in Manchester, be ready for dangerous winds to move in. If you're in Clay Center, be ready for winds that are going to be 70 miles per hour, at least close to it. You're not that far out ahead of this either. Wakefield, up to even Washington, you'll be in the path of this. Now, areas like Manhattan, this is moving east at looks like about 40 miles per hour at this point, the line. So from Clay Center, or from the line of the storms, to areas like Manhattan, you're looking at this arriving in about an hour. So just about 2:30, we would have this in Manhattan. Probably 3 o'clock in Council Grove, and then zooming out here, I'd be looking at arriving in Topeka about 2 hours. So probably 3:30, just about the time the kids are getting on the bus to come home from school. A lot of cases, we're going to have a downpour and some strong winds in Topeka, almost as a surety at this point. All right, we're going to break off the continuous live coverage here on WIBW-TV. We're going to continue live streaming on WIBW.com and on Facebook as well. And we will break in here periodically with updates. But for right now, the most dangerous thing we have in the WIBW viewing area is a line of storms from Washington County to northern Dickinson County with winds that could be as high as 70 miles per hour. The only thing that looked to be spinning was the Oak Hill area. If we go back tornado warning again, we will certainly come on immediately, but we'll break in often on the soccer game the next couple of hours with updates. We also have 13 News at 4, the Red Couch Show, Eye on Northeast Kansas coming up, 13 News at 5, live at 5, 13 News at 6 as well with more updates. And as I mentioned, we live streaming on WIBW.com and breaking in here on TV. Keep your TV right here. We'll keep you safe and informed. Live stream again. We got a new tornado warning. Put us back on. Tornado warning. Put me back on right away. All right, I was lingering a little longer to see if they would keep this tornado warning going into Clay Center, as I mentioned, but now or Clay County, they have extended the tornado warning over into Clay County now. And you'll see here there's a kind of a jump from the old tornado warning to the new one. There's an area right there in between where this one's canceled. But the new one in Clay County now, just southwest of Clay Center, we had a tornado reported actually with this. So the National Weather Service says, train storm spotter reported a tornado at 1:07 p.m., a brief tornado 5 miles southwest of Miltonvale, and a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. So about 20 minutes ago, this produced a tornado southwest of Miltonvale. So the Oak Hill areas I was mentioning a while ago, and I was saying go ahead and take cover even though you don't have a tornado warning at the moment. You could get one. That's what I meant, was this exactly here. And in fact, had touched down. They just didn't have a train storm spotter yet, letting the Weather Service know where it was or if it had actually gotten down at that point. Doug, make sure you're sending out push notifications on this, please. You tell Jarek to make sure he sends a push notification on this. He might have already done it, but I want to make sure that he knows to get those going. All right, so the rotation on this now is going to be just east of Oak Hill. Clay Center, you're not in the tornado warning, but Clay Center, you are going to see strong straight line winds. And the winds on this, sometimes they start to look a little more intense than it might be, but we're getting some bigger numbers in here. I want to show you these numbers. These are going to be the particles in the cloud that are moving this fast. But some of these are going to be a little higher. What do we have? There's a 51, so these are not quite as scary. We had up to 70 a little while ago, but this area that's coming in the southwest part of this is where there's 67. But now it's spinning in this way, and you have the rotation right in here. There we go. Now it's filling it in. I don't know why it was coming in with 50-something, but there's a 77-mile-per-hour wind particle showing up in this color table near Longford. So if we had an 80-mile-per-hour wind in this, it would not be a surprise at this point. Now it's filling in the color table a bit better. The rotation on this is better pronounced than it was. This is the rotation area right there, where you've got the speed the winds are going above this in the red. Where you have red, it means that the radar return is going away from the radar. Green and blue, these colors indicate the returns going toward the radar. So this isn't a pixel-to-pixel rotation here, but it's certainly a rotation that's that's significant. You've got particles here that are going toward the radar almost 80 miles per hour, and here they're going almost 40 miles per hour the other way. So that's a significant area of rotation, and the hook echo to this is becoming a bit more impressive at this point as well. So we're in the Oak Hill area. It looks like the tornado warning is from Oak Hill off to the south to the east, and for Oak Hill, most likely, the tornado in this would be just past you. But if there are areas downstream like Wakefield, you need to be paying attention to this. All right, so Clay Center, if you're in Clay Center, I would not drive anywhere right now. If you're in Clay Center, hang out where you are. If you got friends or family in Clay Center, tell them to wait a few minutes. I would text somebody and let them know don't travel at the moment. If you were to head south on Highway 15, you'd be going into at least 70-mile-per-hour winds, possibly a tornado here, and also hail the size of a golf or larger. If you're in Wakefield, do not get in the car and start driving west right now. If you have friends or family, you might want to text them and let them know the same thing. If they're at work, let them know, don't get on the road and drive west from Wakefield right now, unless you're a storm chaser, and even that would be a dangerous thing to do right now. You would not want to chase a tornado in that fashion. That would be a terrible way to try to even do it. It'd be difficult to try it'd be difficult to chase this in any form or fashion, the direction of motion with this. And it's the kind of storm that produces rain-wrapped tornadoes. They're not particularly large tornadoes typically with something like this, but certainly dangerous. All right, so zooming more closely on this again. If you're in Wakefield, you're not in the tornado warning yet, but you don't have long before this would arrive. I'm going to give you a time arrival here. So we'll go from the leading edge of this, the rotation right about there. If you're looking at Wakefield, it's not going to be, that's not going to be right, but 2:05 is even late. It's going to be more like 15 minutes. Wakefield, you have about 15 minutes before this arrive in Wakefield. I'm going to zoom this back out. And so Wakefield, if you're in Wakefield, you're not in a tornado warning just yet, but I want you to be ready because the direction of motion is taking this to the southeast. It had a confirmed tornado a few minutes ago, just southwest of Miltonvale. So Wakefield, heads up, be ready for this. Downstream, then we have to start talking about Manhattan, maybe Fort Riley, so Keats, the town of Riley itself. So if you're around Fort Riley, and people from Fort Riley are from all over the nation and all over the world in some cases. So if you're at the Fort Riley area within the next 45 minutes, we may be telling you to take shelter. So think about where you would go there. Have your shoes on, have your shoes ready. You'll want to go to the lowest level of your house. If you're in a tornado warning there, stay away from windows. These are things that we'll tell people here in Northeast Kansas all the time. But if you're at Fort Riley, again, a lot of the folks that are there could be from anywhere around the nation or around the world. So keep in mind, we're looking southeast here at some of these towns that could be affected in the future. So back to the cone track on this, give you some times. From the leading edge of this, the rotation right about here. We're going to take this east about 35 miles per hour. So now we're looking at getting into the town of Riley at 2:06, Ogden at 2:20, Rocky Ford about 2:28. We'll pan it to the south now. So Junction City, 2:17 p.m. if it goes more to the southeast. Wakefield, 1:52 is what it's showing there. So these towns are not in the tornado warning yet. They're out ahead of that white polygon, but this is not the first or even the second tornado warning on this storm cell, but this little notch here is kind of growing out ahead of the line. That's where the rotation is showing up that could produce a tornado. All right, we also have the severe thunderstorm warning for a big area. There's a 76-mile-per-hour wind gust report now from just southeast Concordia. That's the official ASOS station there. So 76-mile-per-hour wind gust report with this as well. Tornado warning goes to 145. So you want to take cover there in the middle of Clay County. If you're in Clay Center, you are not in the tornado warning. It is going to be south of Clay Center, right along Highway 15, and the intersection of Highway 15 and 82 is almost exactly where this is going to be going in the next few minutes here. So going back to the stop mode here, we'll check out the distance on it from that location. So if you have friends or family that might be traveling in this area, if somebody's driving from Wakefield to Clay Center or going from Clay Center to Wakefield, that's not a place you'd want to be right now. Even a professional storm chaser would not want to be at 15 and 82 right now. If you want to go get a picture of this or look at it, you wouldn't get a good picture at all. It's almost surely going to be embedded in rain, and it'd be very, very dangerous. So about 5 miles away, maybe 10 minutes away from making the intersection of Highway 82 and Highway 15 there, so that's where the tornado is going to be, most likely, if it does touch down. I'm going to check the debris mode on this. And this did touch down a while ago, just southwest of Miltonvale. Go back to now here. I don't see any debris being kicked up by this at this point, but many times the debris mode won't pick it up if it's in a rural area, especially we don't have the crops aren't fully in many spots. You're not going to have tall corn stalks flying around at this point to pick up on the radar. But the debris mode is really very effective once if it hits something that's man-made or structures. Once you get things that are in the storm that are not raindrops or small hailstones, once you get bigger pieces like a shingle or leaves that are being lofted up in the storm, then it starts to show that debris mode. So I don't see anything on debris mode. That does not mean it's not down. And a trained storm spotter did say they saw this just southwest of Miltonvale touching down. They said it was a brief tornado, but again, this is a rain wrap situation. So this is not going to be one that a lot of people are going to have a good look at anyway. All right, so I am keeping an eye on the Manhattan camera. This is still far enough away from Manhattan that it's, I'm not going to tell people in Manhattan to take cover yet. You still have probably 45 minutes for it to arrive. But Manhattan up to Milford, Wakefield, you guys should be paying attention to this and ready to take shelter, as it certainly could be a problem. All right, updating us to the Weather Service, they say located 7 miles west of Wakefield, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Still radar indicated. Also 2-inch diameter hail is a possibility with this. So 7 miles west of Wakefield is where they're putting this at this point. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Wakefield's not in the tornado warning yet. So if you're in Wakefield, heads up, you are not that far away from this. So for 7 miles away, 35 miles per hour, you're looking at just about 13 minutes, 12 minutes before the rotation could be in Wakefield. The tornado warning goes until 1:45, but a lot like the last tornado warning, this rotation may outrun this box in the next couple of minutes. I'm not sure they would get rid of this one before 1:45. It's close enough that it may ride the whole time. But if you're in Wakefield, just because you're not in a tornado warning yet doesn't mean you won't be in just a couple of minutes here. So the towns I'm concerned about are going to be the ones right ahead of this. They're saying the rotation is more like 7 miles east of Wakefield. So let's go there. Go from Wakefield, or to the west of Wakefield. I'm sorry, I said east. I meant 7 miles west of Wakefield. So they're saying they see the rotation right about here, almost right on Highway 15 right now, right there between where it meets up with Highway 15. So zooming in again, so your tornado is going to be right there, almost right in the intersection of Highway 82 and 15 is where they're seeing the rotation on this, the potential tornado. It did touch down a while ago, so we do have a confirmation that it touched down a while ago, but they're considering this to be a Doppler radar indicated tornado at this point. And looking for an update here from the the Storm Prediction Center, the folks that issue the watches. The Storm Prediction Center from Norman, Oklahoma is where they're based, but they are mentioning that these storms could produce 70 to 80 mile per hour winds with this the next couple of hours, and their area of concern does extend. It extends to the northwest part of Lyon County in that update. So certainly Topeka and Emporia should be concerned about this as well. Again, all right, so we have the tornado potential right there at Highway 15 and Highway 82. That's the intersection of those two highways. Wakefield, you're about 10 minutes to the east of this. And as we zoom out, I'm going to put this into motion and show you what we've got going on for the rest of the area. This batch of storms here, whether it produces a tornado or not, we're going to have a large area of winds, 60 to 80 miles per hour, and that is moving to the southeast. It will affect a lot of northeast Kansas in the next couple of hours. I do have a concern about the bus stop for the kids this afternoon because the time a lot of those kids are going to be at the bus stop or getting on the buses, we could have those powerful winds swinging through right at that time. Here's Supercast on this. So just a heads up for you moms and dads at home, rolling this ahead. This version of Supercast is lagging behind actually on what's actually happening. But around Topeka, Council Grove, Emporia, if the kids don't have a raincoat, it's really a possibility they're going to get soaked or maybe dealing with a severe storm out there at the bus stop. So keep that in mind. The commute home from work this evening is going to likely be dealing with severe storms, maybe some wind. There's even a tornado risk then as well. So we still have that so likely going on for the bus stop in a couple hours and also for the evening commute for many folks. There's an update there for the severe storm warnings.
It looks to be for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and golf ball-sized hail on that.
That's along this line that currently goes from the northeast part of Cloud County over into the southwest part of Washington County. So they're mentioning the damaging wind threat on this, as Doug just mentioned, and golf ball-sized hail. So this line of dangerous winds really extends from right there in the southwest part of Washington County down past Clay Center. We'll zoom in on this line. So the strongest winds tend to happen right at or even just behind where the shift happens. So near Clifton, you're in the strong winds now. Palmer, you'll see strong winds, probably 60 miles per hour in the next 10 minutes or so. Morganville, you've almost got the strong winds with you. Clay Center, you'll see winds gusting 60 or 70 with the next few minutes here. That's almost into Clay Center. The tornado risk, the tornado threat with this, to me, looks like it's south of Clay Center. But if you're in Clay Center, you can expect to see very strong winds. If not arriving already, it'll be there in the next few moments. The hail core looked like it was a little farther south than Clay Center. We'll go back to the hail mode here. There we go. And the hail core usually stays kind of to the west or north of the tornado threat. And the hail looks like it's come down in size a little bit from what it was earlier. And Doug just mentioned it was down to golf ball size. As it came past Oak Hill, you can see those purples. Now you're down to these darker blues, which indicates you're more like a $half size. Once you see these purples, you're ping pong ball size and up. But that hail core almost surely moving toward Wakefield at this point, following the rotation of the potential tornado. So Wakefield, if you're in Wakefield, go ahead and do me a favor now. You are not in a tornado warning, but just go ahead and do this for me. Go ahead and take shelter now if you're in Wakefield. They may discontinue the warning again, I don't know. A few minutes ago, okay, here we go. A few minutes ago, we had the tornado warning discontinue across the extreme western part of Clay County, and then it ramped up enough that they decided to drop the warning again or to issue the warning again. So Wakefield, you're less than 10 minutes away from rotation heading over Wakefield. At a minimum, you're going to have winds gusting 70 miles per hour and hail the size of $half. So around Wakefield, go ahead and take shelter now if you would. Just about next 15 minutes, please, and we'll let this thing pass by. But right now, there's someone at the Weather Service office, professionals doing a great job. I respect all of them. I'm not trying to go against anything they're saying here, but letting you know, if they do put out a tornado warning in a moment, which they very well might, Wakefield will almost certainly be in it, and they'll be saying something like, potential tornado 3 miles west of Wakefield. That'll be something you're going to hear in a couple of minutes. You'll have a very short time to take shelter from there. So in Wakefield, go ahead and take shelter right now. That rotation is very close to Highway 15 and 82, maybe even farther east of that at this point. But if you're in Wakefield, just go ahead and take shelter now. Lowest level of your house. If you don't have a basement in Wakefield, go ahead and go to the first floor. It's the first floor is the lowest you got. That's what you got. So put as many walls as possible between you and the outside. Get away from windows. Even if you don't have the tornado tear down a wall, windows are going to be the first thing to go in many cases. And with this particular storm, the winds are gusting. We had a 76 mile per hour gust earlier near Concordia. So that can bring the hail in from an angle, so it's not just hitting your roof and beating up the roof. The hail can come in sideways and hit the window, and you've got strong winds blasting through the house with the hail. So in Wakefield, please go ahead and take shelter right now. They may or may not extend this tornado warning farther to the east into Wakefield, but I'm telling you, if anybody's going to get a new tornado warning, it's you. Milford, you should be leaning forward. If you're in Milford, I would put your shoes on. I would start thinking about where you're going to go. If you already have a tornado safety plan in Milford, be ready to hear me say take cover. But in Milford, I'm just grabbing my shoes right now and thinking, where's the iPad at? And where's your wireless device that you can take with you to the basement, take cover? Milford, you've got about 20 minutes probably with this, maybe 30. But so just heads up from Milford. I want you guys to be ready to take shelter if I say it, or if you just want to go down, just go ahead and do it now. You can. Either way, I can almost guarantee you Milford's going to have at least a severe storm moving through in the next 20 minutes or so. Wakefield you're right there. It looks like the rotation's moving almost right on top of you. All right, no update on this just yet. We had one a couple minutes ago on the severe storm warning aspect of it that Doug was mentioning, where they were saying 70-mile-per-hour winds and hail up to the size of golf balls look to be possible with this. And the rotation here, the tornado touched down southwest of Milton Vale, and then here it's coming south and eastward. So we've still got the spin going toward folks in the Wakefield area right now. Again, so Wakefield, take cover. But along this line, you're going to have 70-mile-per-hour winds or close to it all along this line, getting almost to the Chapman area. So northern parts of Dickinson County, Milford, Fort Riley, you're going to have severe storm winds coming in shortly as well. Let's go and give you a time of arrival on that. Zooming out. All right, so let's do a time of arrival for this. Going out from the leading edge of the strongest of the winds here. You go right here, off to the southeast. Let's do it again. All right, cone track, here we go. So from here, off to the southeast, there we go. It's going to be, I'm going to have to do it manually. I'll do it manually. All right. Just put it in the wrong spot there. But the mouse always works.
All right, we should have an update any time on what's happening with this tornado warning, if it's going to continue downstream or if it's just going to be severe thunderstorm warnings, or maybe it'll be like the last time where we'll go back to CBS for 2 minutes and then come back on.
There we go. We've got Ogden, 2:14 p.m., Junction City, 2:04, Milford at 1:54, and Wakefield in the next few minutes here. A little farther down the line there, you could also add Junction Cities in this about 2:04, 2:05. So that's how long you have before this would arrive. Zooming back out, let's see Manhattan, how far away you are from this at this point. From Manhattan to the storm, you're looking at about 23, 24 miles. I'm going to actually pace this out. This is a 1 hour of radar, so I'm going to see how fast the overall line looks like it's moving from over the last hour. And it doesn't look like it's more than about 40 miles per hour at the most here. It's about 35 miles per hour. Okay, so if we take this just kind of out in time at the pace it's been going, then you'll have it 35 miles. So an hour from now, you're looking at just about 2:45. You're getting into about the Onega area approximately, and then the southern part of the line could be very close to Council Grove by 2:45, certainly by 3. So that would put it in Topeka about 3:30 or so, depending on if it continues or if it speeds up. Sometimes it'll speed up. It doesn't look like it's going to take any aggressive move to speed up from what I'm seeing there on at this point. It looks like it's probably going to continue like this. Many times these will speed up after the sun goes down, but in this case it looks like it may continue on this direction and speed as is. All right, tornado warning, did that expire?
It did, yep.
Okay.
It doesn't look like they're going to extend it.
Okay.
We did have a report of a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust at 1:30 near Oak Hill in Clay County.
Okay, all right. So Doug's mentioning they have the tornado warning expired at 1:45. If you're in Wakefield, look at you again here. All right. I'm going to stay with this for about 5 more minutes. Wakefield, stay with us here on this. If you're already sheltering in Wakefield, just hang out where you are. You're in the severe thunderstorm warning still, where the winds are 70 miles per hour. We had a report just a moment ago of 65 miles per hour near Clay Center. We had a report of 70 mile per hour winds, or 76 miles per hour, close to Concordia a while ago. Wakefield, you have the hail core moving either right over you or at least very close to you. We'll see if the hail has come down at all. We're still looking at it being maybe half dollar size, but it's actually going to be closer to Wakefield at this time, probably almost right on top of Wakefield, as a matter of fact, at this point. So Wakefield, Milford, this rotation is almost to you. As I mentioned, the National Weather Service, the warning expired at 1:45 p.m. The severe thunderstorm warning continues, and let's see what the time is in this one. I don't remember what the expiration time was in the severe storm warning.
I believe that was 2:15.
2:15. There we go. All right, 2:15, as Doug just mentioned, 70 mile per hour winds and golf ball size hail. So what we're going to see out of this, most likely, is we'll have a new warning issued in the next 5 minutes that will include a big chunk of Riley County, maybe all, a big chunk of Gary County, maybe all, and it could even catch the western part of Pottawatomie County, just kind of looking at what will be out ahead of it. So we've had several reports of damaging wind with this, of up to 76 miles per hour. So you can see, just as well as I can, which way the monster is moving in this case. You have the line of severe storm winds right there from Clay Center to Wakefield that's making its way eastward. So if you're in Manhattan, this is coming your way, and I'm very confident that weather radios across Riley County and Gary County are just about to start screeching as this storm gets into those areas. Zoom in more closely here, and we'll look at it from Manhattan. And from Manhattan, you'll be able to see the storm cloud on the horizon now. It's not a tornado or anything of that nature at this point, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning. But let's look from the Flint Hills Discovery Center to the northwest. So we have a good look at this from Manhattan that we'll be monitoring. So if we go back to programming here, back to the to soccer, then you'll know we're still watching this, and we'll keep an eye on it. We have an eye there from WIMIGO, from the live camera, from WIMIGO Telecom as well, and I also have some of these traffic cameras from KDOT that we're keeping an eye on. All right, so again, the severe thunderstorm warning continues until 2:15 for these areas from Clay County down to Dickinson County, up into Washington County, and kind of hanging on a moment here. I just want to see if they update for Riley and Gary County before I send you back over to soccer. I'm confident they'll be doing that this moment. I want to give you what the parameters are in this warning. We will continue live streaming on WIBW.com. You can also see us on the WIBW Weather app and the WIBW News app. Have links to that as well. If you have trouble finding us, I could actually bring it up here for you. I'll show you this link so you know where it's at. All right. I'm going to back up here so I can show it to you. This is going to be it. Yeah, there we go. Now that's the Concordia camera. All right, so you go to the top of our website. It's WIBW.com, and the word live stream is right at the top. It's in red background. There's the Council Grove camera. We have it lined up to keep watching the storm as well. But we'll be watching this coming in. So just go to the top of WIBW.com and click on the link that says live stream there at the top in white letters, the red background. It's just right at the top middle, and you'll see it. So in the next 5 minutes here, we will see this severe storm warning extended into Riley County and Gary County. The part that's rotating is right over Wakefield now and almost to Milford. I'm confident we're going to get pictures in from people around Wakefield, some hail, maybe even some wind damage. That's going to be coming in shortly as well. All right, Bridge, can you guys hear me in there? All right, let's go ahead and I'll just say it this way. If you're in Riley County, you're going to have a severe storm warning issued in a few minutes. It's going to include all of Riley County, I'm sure. Gary County, so Junction City, Fort Riley, Ogden, you'll be in this for sure. We'll break back into programming often. If there's a tornado warning, we'll come in right away. If we have a high-end wind event, we'll let you know right away. But in Manhattan, Fort Riley, Ogden, Junction City, Milford. You can be ready for winds gusting 70 miles per hour close to it. We'll continue live streaming at WIBW.com. We're on the WIBW weather app and the WIBW news app, as well as a Facebook live feed. And we'll break in back here often with updates. Keep your TV right here. We'll keep you safe and informed.